And welcome into a special edition of Market Talk. I am your host, Jesse Allen. Great to have you here. MarketTalkAg.com. That's where you can find us online. MarketTalkAg.com. You can also find us, Market Talk Ag, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the social media. Great place to find us as well. And our many great radio affiliates across the entire country. You can find the full list online under the About section at MarketTalkAg.com. Well, a special episode I mentioned, and it's always a pleasure to chat with the folks at the Progressive Agriculture Foundation. And we have our January safety message. And joining us this month, Bernard Geschke with the Progressive Agriculture Foundation. Bernard, great to have you on Market Talk. Thanks for the time.
Well, thank you for the invitation. We appreciate everything you're doing for us, Jesse, and getting that safety and health word out to rural America.
Well, and it's great to talk to you again as well. It's been a few months since you and I have actually got to converse as I've moved on and moved to different things in my career. So it's always fun when you and I get to chat. And of course, we've added the video element, so we get to see each other when we talk this time as well instead of a phone call.
Yeah, it's interesting because we did programs with you for over a year before we actually got to meet down in Kansas City at a conference, and that was fun. We actually got to meet and sit face to face and do a training, and now here we are in the COVID thing, so we're still not face to face, but at least we're doing the video type of education.
It's face to face, sort of. We'll put it that way. Well, no, again, Bernard, I appreciate the time today. Let's get into our January safety message, and I know we are talking about carbon monoxide and radon, and I think just for starters, maybe I know we're going to focus more on carbon monoxide versus radon, but can you tell us why these are some things and some topics that we need to pay attention to and why it's something the Progressive Agriculture Foundation talks about?
Well, this is the time of the year, excuse me. This is the time of the year when, people are turning on their heating systems and they're starting their car in the mornings to get the car warmed up, that type of thing. And when we talk about carbon monoxide, we talk about it being the invisible killer. Because the thing is, anything that burns fuel will produce carbon monoxide. So if you're talking about your car back, getting it started, if you're in an attached garage and people leave their car running, well, that carbon monoxide builds up in the garage and can actually bleed into the house. If you have a detached garage and you're going to start your car, that's good. But the thing is, make sure you leave that garage door open so you got some fresh air coming in there. And so then we move into the house dealing with that carbon monoxide and where are we going to find that? You'll find it just anywhere that's burning fuel. It could be your oven in the kitchen, could be if it's a gas stove, a gas furnace, a fireplace, portable heaters, any of those that are burning fuel, and fireplaces that even if you're burning wood, a lot of times people think, well, that's not a liquid fuel, but it still produces carbon monoxide. Burning that wood still produces that carbon monoxide. So it's kind of the invisible killer that we're talking about that's right there in your home if you're burning fuel.
Well, and it's something great that you mentioned that it's an invisible killer. And I know looking through some of the literature that the Progressive Agriculture Foundation puts out about topics and looking at carbon monoxide, a lot of the common symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning, I know they're described as kind of flu-like, aren't they?
Yes, they are. It's a good analogy. In fact, it's a kind of a long list of things here that actually are symptoms of carbon monoxide, and they are very much flu-like. So you've got you could probably have headaches, dizziness, blurred vision, weakness, upset stomach, vomiting, difficulty breathing, chest pains. There's just a lot of symptoms there, and as it gradually gets worse and as it builds up in your home or in your body, it can even cause confusion. It will actually lead to death. You can actually go unconscious from it, and it could actually lead to death if it goes undetected or untreated.
So what's our best defense against carbon monoxide poisoning? What are some different practices that we can do to prevent this from happening inside our home?
Well, I think your best defense is get you a detector. You know, that's a we preached for years and years for people to get a smoke detector, heat detectors in their house for fires. Well, carbon monoxide is just as important, and there are carbon monoxide detectors. And so I would say your best defense, Jesse, is get one of those detectors and get that mounted in your house, at least one on every floor. If you've got a 2 or 3 story house, you really need one of those on each floor. And when you locate them, you don't want to locate them right beside the fireplace or right beside the furnace. But they say it's the carbon monoxide is lighter than air, so it'll go to the top. So you actually want to mount your carbon monoxide detector on the ceiling. And if you can't mount it on the ceiling and you need to mount it on the wall, make sure it's at least 5 feet high or higher on the wall, and that'll get you up a little higher there where most of that carbon monoxide can be detected.
Now, what are some other practices? Obviously, those are very good ones, but I know you guys have a short list as well of some different practices to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning. Can you talk about those?
Yeah, a lot of that deals with maintenance, just good maintenance every year. As far as you're getting ready to turn your furnace on or that type of thing, have an annual inspection. You know, if you're capable of doing that yourself. If not, call a service person in, because it's important that they're working correctly and they're working clean, because there is a difference between a heater that's working clean and one that's not, because one that's not produces more of the gases and that type of thing. So make sure you get your furnace, heaters, that type of thing cleaned annually, and your chimney. Get your chimney cleaned once a year, because the thing is that also builds up inside your chimney, and get that inspected and get that cleaned once a year. We also talk about never heating your house, say with your oven,
Hmm.
type of thing. Let's say we're in a bad storm and you lose electricity. You know, some people say, well, gosh, I will light the oven to warm up the house. Well, again, all that carbon monoxide from that oven is just coming right into your house. So that's not a good idea. They also have talked about generators. You know, if you've lost electricity, using a generator. A lot of people use generators. I mean, they're very handy and they're good. You know, to keep your electrical, your refrigerators and freezers and stuff from thawing out. But the important thing, leave that generator sit outside. Don't bring that generator into the house, into the garage, because as that's burning fuel, that's going to be putting carbon monoxide into your home and that type of thing. So leave that generator outside and run those. Leave the door open a crack to run the cords in, or open the window a crack, something like that, to bring the cords into the house. And then again, we also mentioned about starting your car and letting it warm up. You know, it's just not a good idea to let them do that inside of a garage. You know, get them outside in the fresh air and let them run and warm up there. But those are kind of some good helpful hints and maintenance and that type of thing, is preparing for carbon monoxide and the season here when we usually hear about that, because there are about 400 people a year killed by carbon monoxide, and over 20,000 a year are hospitalized. So it's a serious matter.
It is a serious matter for sure. And I know, like carbon monoxide, radon is also odorless, colorless, poisonous. But I know, unlike, carbon monoxide, where we can have a detector, radon, it's a little different for us to test for radon. Can you just talk about that real briefly?
Yeah, radon you can purchase a kit. The negative thing is it's a one-time kit. You can't use it over and over like you can a smoke detector, a heat detector, or a carbon monoxide detector. You know, there you can air out the house, get the fresh air in, the detectors will go off, they will stop, and then you can continue to use them. With a radon detector, it's a one-time use, but it's a good idea to get your house checked, once a year or something, and get your kit, and there's instructions there on how to use that radon kit, just in case there is some radon gas in your area and or in your home. And again, you'll usually find that in the lower levels.
Well, and January is National Radon Action Month, so it's a good idea to test for radon this month as well. Now, Bernard, talking about carbon monoxide, talking about radon, let's tie this into a progressive agriculture safety day where obviously you were teaching youth. Now, I wouldn't think that a 5 year old is going to go test for carbon monoxide and know how to run the detector, but then again, that's, I would think, probably part of your education plan when it comes to a progressive ag safety day.
You bet, Jesse. You hit it right on the head there, because the thing is, we target really 4 to 13-year-olds at a progressive agriculture safety day. And those younger kids, yeah, they're probably not going to understand carbon monoxide poisoning. But as those kids get older and they understand the burning of fuels and how heat's generated, then they're going to understand that. And that's the neat thing about progressive ag safety days, is it's adaptable to the population. Excuse me. So everything's age appropriate. If we're talking to little 4 and 5-year-olds, we're probably talking about smoke detectors and heat detectors. If that detector goes off in their house, how do you get out of your house? So we talk about an exit plan. The kids need to know how to get out of the house in no matter what part of the house they're in. If they're in the bedrooms, or if they're in the basement, or they're in the kitchen, how do I get out of the house if a smoke detector goes off? And then once after they're out of the house, where is that safe spot? Where is that spot outside where we're supposed to go to make sure everybody got out of the house safely? It might be the mailbox, it might be a tree in your front yard, that type of thing. But that's the type of thing that we will teach the younger kids, more on smoke detectors, heat detectors. And as they get older, then we would introduce more on the carbon monoxide detectors.
Well,
So
Bernard, yeah, you guys are always working to keep children in rural communities safe from hazards on the farm, ranch, and at home. And progressive agriculture safety days are such a great thing. Now, I know 2020, obviously, you guys had to change up and do a lot of virtual stuff. But as we move into 2021, can you tell us a little bit more about progressive agriculture safety days, how people can learn more, and what those are looking like as we move into a new year, still amid a pandemic?
that's an interesting question, Jesse, and I wish you could answer that for me. So no, it's kind of a crapshoot right now, but we're going to be prepared for whatever 2021 deals us. Right now, the numbers are still too high to have a lot of the face-to-face or in-person safety days. And so right now we're still promoting the virtual safety day, which means when the kids are in their classroom, that type of thing, we have all of the educational videos put together and things that they can do for hands-on activities, and we're introducing that into their classroom. So all the teachers got to really do is turn on the computer, the projector, and we're bringing the program into the classroom, and then hopefully providing materials for those teachers to be able to have the kids do a hands-on activity. That's kind of defined as a virtual safety day. Now, what it's going to be as 2021 develops here, and as the next few months pass, we're hoping the vaccine helps and numbers go down. And if that happens and we can get back into in-person and face-to-face safety days, that's what we're striving for. That's the best way to educate those kids. Get in front of them, get them off their chairs, get them involved in a hands-on activity, and actually teach them hands-on things of why safety and health is so important.
Well, Bernard, if folks want to learn more about hosting or volunteering or doing the virtual safety days or even donating to help send children to progressive agriculture safety days, well, since you guys are a nonprofit organization, what's the easiest way to do that?
Thank you, Jesse, for throwing that bone my direction, because they can apply several ways. If there's not a progressive ag safety day in your community and you're wanting one in your community, several ways. You can go to our website, progressiveag.org, and there's an application process there, and explains it's a very simple process. If you're not a website person, we also have a toll-free phone number, and that's 888 257 3529, and they can call in on that, and we can help them through that process of applying, or maybe they just want to volunteer. Maybe they just want to help at a safety day. That would be great. We'd love to have volunteers. And like you say, for every dollar that's sent into Progressive Ag Safety Day Foundation, we can reach more kids. So the thing is, if they would want to make a donation to help kids there, I mean, we have grandparents that will donate X number of dollars per every grandchild, to try and reach more and more kids out there. And they can do that a couple ways. Again, they can go to our website, progressiveag.org, and donate that direction. Or you can do it right from your cell phone, and you can text Safety Day, one word, all uppercase, Safety Day, to 44321, and make a donation. And like I said, we're a charitable nonprofit foundation, and for every dollar that's raised, we can take that safety and health message to rural America.
Well, doing great things and helping keep kids safe in rural America, on the farm, on the ranch, and at home. ProgressiveAg.org, ProgressiveAG.org is where you can find out more online. Bernard Geschke with the Progressive Agriculture Foundation. I appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us for the January safety message.
Thank you, Jesse, and we appreciate everything you're doing for safety and health.